The name of the new chapter we are going to study is state government. So in India, talking about Indian country, the state governments in India are those which are governments. These are governments which rule the states of India. So India has many states, right? So separate government system is there for ruling each state, which is known as the state government. And the head of Council of Ministers in a state is known as Chief Minister. Every state in India has a Chief Minister and he is the head for all the council ministers of that state. So state governments in India, government works at three levels in India. They are known as local level, state level and national level. So we have Gram Panchayats, we have state governments, we have central governments, right? The government which works at the state level, it is known as the state government. Here the legislature makes the laws which govern a state. So the legislature only decides the laws that will rule over a state, and the implements the laws, the judiciary, all that ensure that people are protected, state is protected. So implements the executive of the legislature, the speaker, he implements the laws, and the judiciary, the people of the court, the people of the state level, national high court, the state level high court. The judiciary means the total people, lawyers, courts, judges, all these people together come under judiciary. Judge and the lawyers of the court, advocates, all these come under judiciary. So these people along with the speaker, they ensure that all the people of the state are protected. So state government is divided into legislative. Next, let's see about the legislature. So to make the laws for a state, we need a body empowered to make them. So we need educated people who have knowledge, who can make laws for a state. So this body is only known as legislature. And in some states, the legislature is divided into two types of houses. They are known as Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. But some states contain only Vidhan Sabha and some states contain both Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. So if any state is having both the houses, both the legislatures, then they are known as bicameral, and those states having only one house, they are known as unicameral. So unicameral and bicameral. Next is the Vidhan Parishad. So the Legislative Council or the Vidhan Parishad, this is the upper chamber of the state legislature. The Union Parliament, it has the power to create or abolish the Legislative Council. So Legislative Council is also known as Vidhan Parishad, and this is the upper chamber of the state government. And the Union Parliament, that is the central parliament, it has the power to create or abolish this Legislative Council of different states on the basis of resolutions, that means decisions adopted by special majority in the assemblies. So majority of the people in the assembly, state level government, if they make any decisions, then the central government has the power to abolish these decisions or to create these decisions. So as mentioned in the constitution rules, the total membership of this council will not be less than 40. So the total members of the state legislature upper chamber will not be less than 40 and not more than 1/3 of the total number of members of the total legislative assembly. So how many members are elected? Out of those, not less than 40 will be in the upper house, that is Vidhan Parishad, and not more than 1/3 of the total members elected. So all these legislative council members, they are indirectly elected or nominated by the governor. So all the members of this legislative council, they are elected or nominated only by the governor of this. Next is Vidhan Sabha. Vidhan Sabha is the lower chamber. So here MLAs are there in the Vidhan Sabha, member of legislative assemblies. So these MLAs are elected by the people because it is a democratic system of government, and in each state of India has an assembly, and each state is also divided into many areas called constituencies. So from each constituency, one people is elected and then he becomes an MLA. He can belong to any political party. So now you understood, right? Every state has an assembly and every state is divided into small constituencies. So from each constituency, one member will be elected who is known as the MLA. this MLA all together, they represent, all the MLAs together represent the Vidhan Sabha. These MLAs can belong to any political party. So any political party whose MLAs have won more than half number of constituencies, suppose there are 40 constituencies and any majority party has won 22, then they come under majority. So that group of political party people who have won the elections come under majority. So a political party whose MLAs have won more the number of constituencies, more than half, they become the majority ruling party. And then this majority party will be known as the ruling party. And all the minors who have won and people who haven't won, they will be known as opposition. So that is why in India we have ruling parties as well as opposition parties. So as of now in India, the Prime Minister belongs to the BJP, Narendra Modi. So he belongs to the ruling party and Congress is the opposition party. And all the states in India, they do not have the same number of MLAs. So suppose for example Rajasthan, it is the largest state of India in terms of area, the land. So that assembly has 200 members. Rajasthan state's assembly has 200 members. Whereas Madhya Pradesh, this is the second largest state in India in terms of land, that is in terms of area. But then still, it has more number of MLAs than Rajasthan. It has 230 MLAs. So this is an image of Vidhan Sabha. What is the life of Vidhan Sabha? It lasts for 5 years. But suppose in case of any emergency happens, any government is suddenly, the government has fallen down due to unknown emergency situation, then maybe before 5 years also elections may be held again. But otherwise, the assembly lasts for 5 years. So to become the legislative member, to become a MLA, what are the basic qualifications needed? He or she has to be a citizen of India and has to be of minimum 25 years of age. He or she should not hold any post of profit in the government. He shouldn't be a criminal, shouldn't have any criminal history, shouldn't be convicted by a court with the imprisonment of 2 years or more. And also in addition to all this, he or she must have a sound mind. Then he is eligible to become the member of the legislature. Then in addition to all these features, if he has a sound mind, then then the person can become the member of the legislature. Who can be the leader of the legislature? So all these members of the assemblies, they elect the speakers. MLAs are elected, no member of legislative assemblies. MLAs elect one speaker and also a deputy speaker. So this deputy speaker and main speaker, they control the house, that is assembly, and ensure there is order. So who is the leader of the legislature? Total MLAs elect one speaker who is the leader of the legislature, and also there is one deputy speaker also. Next, let's see about the powers and functions of state legislative assembly in India. So Indian constitution, it tells us that there is a parliamentary type of government in the state. The popularly elected legislative assemblies, the MLAs and all these things, the state assemblies, they are designed by the constitution as forums. So what is their function? To provide legitimacy to the governments of the states. So Indian constitution institutes that there is parliamentary type of government system in the states. The elected MLAs, they are designed by the constitution so that they can provide legitimacy to the government. That means the MLAs, whoever have been elected, they should be good, they should be sincere, and they should provide good ruling. Power should be good. They should be capable of ruling their particular constituency, and they should provide legitimacy to the government of the state because they are answerable to the government of the state. And what is the most important function of the Legislative Assembly? It acts as the highest law-making organ of the state. State Legislative Assembly has the highest powers to control the state. And in unicameral state legislature, where there is only one house, there is only the upper chamber, there all bills on the subjects in the state, these are initiated and passed by this house before it goes to the permission for the governor. So in unicameral, where there is only one chamber, upper house, there all the bills in the state, they are initiated and passed only in one single house and then they go to the governor. But in bicameral state legislature, where there are two houses, upper chamber and lower chamber, that legislative council cannot initiate the money bills. These needs to be either raised, so ordinary bills can be raised in either houses, but money bills can originate only in the Vidhan Sabha. So in two types, in bicameral state legislature we have two houses, upper house and lower house. Here money bills cannot be initiated, only ordinary bills can be initiated. Money bills can originate only in the Vidhan Sabha. And even though the assembly doesn't have direct share in the powers, assembly cannot take the direct decisions, right? But still it can influence, it has good degree of influence over the executive. India has unstable party system. There are many political parties. So that is the reason MLAs, member of legislative assemblies, they bargain for the power. They ask for the power, and in exchange for power, they provide support in the legislative assembly. In the assembly sessions, in return for the power, they provide good support in the assembly sessions. So this assembly has the power over the complete state. Budget will be decided, all the money bills will be initiated and passed in the assembly, and later the governor sanctions these bills. In addition to these powers, that is passing of the bills, initiating the budget, money bills, ordinary bills, in addition to all these powers of the assembly, this assembly also has some exclusive powers. What are those powers? The MLAs, the members of the assembly, they take part in the election of the president also. The president of India will be elected by the MLAs of each state. And then assembly also takes part in the constitution amendments.